please welcome to the stage go-to-market leader for 3DEXPERIENCE Works simulation portfolio, Sri Krishna Chittor.
Good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing? Wow, I think the lunch really pumped you guys up, huh? All right. I am very, very excited to be on stage right now. And this session is going to be a lot more exciting, a lot more cooler than all those other sessions happening right now. Just FYI. All right. Usually, we spend a lot of time talking to customers who have already seen the benefits of simulation. Today, we're going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to bring somebody here on stage who's a complete cynic, doesn't believe in simulation at all. Hopefully, by the end of this session, we're going to help him understand, also have you believe that unified modeling and simulation approach on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform is the only way to go if you want to innovate super strong, safe, smart, and efficient products with an accelerated timeline. Let's learn a little bit about our mysterious guest.
My grandfather always used to say, our job is simple, to give the customers what they want, no matter what it is. And that really defines us today. Other companies might produce a product here and there, but at Acme, we make everything, literally. As you can imagine, our product portfolio is extremely robust. And of course, this can present significant engineering challenges. But whether we're looking to fix a minor design flaw or shatter the laws of nature and physics, we will never tell a customer no, even if maybe we should. It doesn't matter if you're a Fortune 500 executive, a startup entrepreneur, or an anthropomorphic wolf-like creature looking to catch and eat a flightless bird. If you can dream it up, we will deliver something.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the CEO of the Acme Corporation, Mr. Corey Warner. Corey, so good to see you.
So good to see you. Thank you so much.
All right. Tell me, how's business going in Acme these days?
Well, to be honest with you, Acme is seeing its share of challenges these days. Back in my grandfather's day, things were different. Customers would buy a product from our catalog, and once it arrived, that was the end of the interaction. But today, I don't know if it's the internet, Twitter, Yelp, but don't you find that customers are much more demanding today than they used to be?
I think they always were, but anyway, continue.
Well, I mean, it used to be that once it arrived, it didn't matter what happened next. But now, I don't know, customers just want things to work, you know? And I mean every single time. It's a real pain point for Acme.
Sounds like it. Do you have any examples you could share with us today?
Sure. Okay, well, we sell a lot of rocket-powered vehicles, you know, like rocket-powered roller skates, pogo sticks, things like that, and they all look great. But as soon as we put a payload on it, we've got trouble. I think we actually have a clip. I can show you what I mean.
Sure, let's take a look.
Yeah, okay, this is our rocket-powered sled. Yeah, and you see, at first it works really well, but inevitably, our engineer has some trouble with it, and this happens. Yeah, every single time. Now, of course, no one ever gets hurt, but still not great for business. We did some market research, and we determined that what our customers are looking for are safety, reliability, and performance. And no one ever says anything about wanting it to smash into the side of a mountain.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's put a real
requirement.
Yeah, it's a real damper on repeat business.
Well, you're in luck
Yeah.
because we have a customer here today who's innovating a very unique vehicle platform while dealing with somewhat similar challenges.
Oh, yeah.
So let's meet them now.
My name is Alok Das. I'm the co-founder of Corvos. We started this journey about 5 years back. The idea was to solve a problem and using electric mobility as a medium to solve it. There is an unaddressed, unmet need lying in the market for a two-wheeler logistics space. a dedicatedly purpose-built cargo scooter which has been designed grounds up, which is meant for carrying goods, which uses the load to improve the dynamics and stability of the vehicle. And that's what is our vision, revolutionizing the last mile logistics.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Alok Das, the co-founder of Cargos, and Pranav Shinde, the lead vehicle integration engineer.
Glad to be here.
Alok and Pranav, thank you for joining us.
I think the mic is not working.
All right. I think the mic was designed by Acme Corporation.
What can I say?
I think it's working now.
All right. So, thank you for joining us.
Good to be here.
My friend Corey here is running into some challenges in their unique vehicle design. Tell us about your game-changing vehicle and how you're encountering these challenges.
So, Mr. Corey Warner, I understand your problems, but I can give you an example of how we built this vehicle as a platform.
Great.
Right? We cannot do the rocket-powered vehicle, but then definitely something on the ground.
Okay.
Here you go.
So Cargos has a vision of advancing the world's transition to sustainable logistics. We have been working in a space which is definitely looking something which is very, very interesting from the present generation we are living in. We are looking at a time where people want to get things done immediately. They want the things done faster, but at the same time, the urban dwellings, the cities are getting crowded. So we require a solution which can help deliver things faster, a logistics solution which is designed to be versatile, modular, and henceforth. So let's get started. So when we were getting started, we looked at the solutions on the left, how the purpose shapes engineering. There are different vehicles which already exist in the market, which are specifically meant for a respective application. At the same time, on the right side, you see a purpose-built vehicle platform, which is a truck, which is used for hauling stuff. There is nothing in between. People definitely use the two-wheeler commuter vehicles for some form of logistics application, as we have seen across the world, but they are having inherent limitations in terms of the payload capacity as well as the volume. There's only few things that you can do on that. That's where we are introducing today the compact logistics platform or compact logistics vehicle, a vehicle which can do more for less.
That's really impressive. I wish I could see it myself.
Absolutely.
Well, let's do you one better. Alok, go ahead.
Today we are announcing to you and to the world's first cargo scooter platform over here.
So Alok, tell us more about how you developed this vehicle from scratch.
So well, we studied a lot of markets across the world, not just India specifically. But then we try to understand what consumers want. This vehicle is going to be out on road for more number of hours every day. It has to be safe, durable, reliable. It has to be comfortable to be ridden throughout the day. It has got to have the right performance and range. It should not be a slow-moving vehicle. It needs to have a large and a modular space inbuilt, which can be customized for the requirements. And overall, the cost of operation has to be low. So these are the key requirements which we understood from the customer study that we have done. And on the right side, you can see the transformation of the translation of the customer wants and needs into engineering requirements, which basically talks about the stronger chassis, lesser aerodynamic drag for the fatigue, safer batteries so that they don't catch fire, connected vehicle platform, because we are talking about tech, the traceability, tractability, the design for manufacturing, at the same time, smoother ride. So today we are introducing the world's first cargo scooter platform, which has got 225 liters of space, 120 kgs, lower center of gravity, 150 kilometers of range, about 100 miles, 80 kilometers per hour top speed. Now, the architecture is potentially much more potent for higher speeds, and it has been designed like that. At the same time, we have built it as a technology platform, which allows you to help improve the efficiency by integrating a lot of new sensors. Maybe you can talk about, let's say, the crash detection or riding analytics, route optimization, vehicle cargo, and tracking. So we have built it as a deep tech platform. We see on the one side, we see the overall the motivation, right? On the left side, you can see the vehicle horribly carrying the load, which are not the right way of doing the business. On the right side, you can see unlocking the full F9 potential, which would allow us to have use case scenario to our imagination.
So, Alok, I just want to mention, yesterday we had Bernard Charles sit on the vehicle, and he absolutely loved it. But the first application that came to his mind is, I can now carry my grandkids to the grocery store. Just an idea.
Yes, absolutely. We will find definitely a lot of applications to it, and that's a nice idea. We can definitely create some safe space inside it as well. So during this particular journey of product development, like a lot of companies get into the vicious cycle of build, test, break of prototypes, we didn't want to get into that trap. To avoid doing that, what we essentially did is we leverage the ModSim approach, a unified modeling and simulation approach, which helped us improve our product development cycle overall time, making it far more lesser than it typically takes to develop a product like this. And because this does not have benchmarks, when you don't have a benchmarks, each iteration that you do becomes a benchmark. So instead of having a real world iteration, you are doing a digital iterations which help you build, test, break digitally, not in the real world. It saves money, it saves cost, because it's at the end of the day, the computers which can run throughout 24/7 and help you deliver on the results. So to name a few, we'll be talking about them in detail. So we leverage the full potential of the 3D experience platform to the full potential to allow us to make the product much more robust, so that when it comes out in the market, it is in the media and it is in the news for the right reasons and not for the wrong reasons, right? We want everybody to be safe, and that's what we have essentially leveraged. I must also say that just like the way we are trying to simplify the lives of the people or the logistics, in similar fashion, the ModSim approach has simplified the product development cycle.
Can you share a couple of examples?
So let me invite my colleague, Pranav, who is going to talk us about the simulation journey that we have done.
Right. Thank you. So we saw, right, how the rocket-powered vehicle crashed. So it's mostly because the aerodynamics is not right, I believe. But we did the simulations on our vehicle. So the drag we did gave us a good ride and handling phenomenon on the vehicle. We did the simulations, we understood the forces acting on the vehicle from the front, the left side, and even the crosswinds. Then the drag is also important to understand the vehicle motor sizing, right? So if there is a higher drag, we need to have a higher power to push the vehicle. It means we need to put a bigger motor and a bigger battery pack, which is going to increase the cost of the vehicle. Then we also try to understand the rider comfort. So if imagine there is a lot of turbulence coming onto the rider face, and thus it is going to have him fatigued very early, making the ride not much comfortable. We want him to enjoy the ride as much as possible. Then the very important thing why we did the simulations is to understand the streamline flow across the vehicle panels. How does it helps us is we get the first instinct on how the body panels needs to be designed. So what you see here, the body panels have been designed with respect to their aerodynamic drag calculations and the streamlines flow. Let's look how we did it. So we did the simulations both in the front wind and the crosswinds onto the vehicle, right? Now the crosswinds can happen because of multiple reasons. It could be in the windy areas, or maybe a heavy truck passing through, and thus we identified what are the pressure zones acting onto the vehicle. You can see in the first case, in the front wind area, there are a lot of pressure zones created onto the vehicle. It's basically onto the console panel and the front and the front side. When it comes to crosswinds, we see a lot of red areas onto the side panel of the vehicle. The 15-degree angle crosswind, 30-degree angle crosswind, and so on.
So Pranav,
Yep.
you ran these simulations on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform.
Sure.
With the fluid dynamics engineer role, all on cloud. You got the results, identified some of the hot spots, high stagnation areas on the vehicle.
Yes.
What kind of design changes did you make going back to Solidworks?
Well, yes, we can show you that. So this is one particular high pressure area acting on the front side, right? So you can see initially the design was kind of a shark fin type. This was modified to a much of a curvier shape. So you can see the existing vehicle with the modified design. This has helped us to reduce the drag to a lot extent.
And that's what we're seeing right here.
Yes, that's the here one. So maybe for the rocket powered vehicle we need to do something like this.
All right.
Yep. So this is one of the challenge that we faced. let's talk about battery also. So this is one particular challenge we faced a lot in electric vehicles right nowadays. So this is the exploded view of the battery pack, which showcases multiple materials and different components involved. So as you see, there are quite a few number of materials used and different types of materials. For example, shock absorbing foam, you have the aluminum material, you have the plastics injection plastic cell holders, and these all contribute differently to the thermals of the battery pack. Let's look how. Right. So a battery pack consists of number of cells, right? These are lithium ion cells. Now lithium ion cells are essentially electrochemical in nature, and since they are electrochemical, they are sensitive to temperatures around it. So if you push the battery pack to a higher temperatures, there is a chance of it getting it damaged. If you push it further, there is a chance of having a thermal run away. What it means is one of the cell will catch fire and it will transfer the heat to its adjacent cells, and so on. A chain reaction starts, leading to entire battery pack causing fire and exploding. This is a safety hazard, right? So how we did and solve this issue? Let's understand. So we conducted simulations on this, and then we understood the temperature rise of the battery pack at various different points, and we also did the physical results of it, and then we matched both the curves, right? So here you see both the curves, both physical and the experimental results, match with a strong correlation. This is extremely important.
This is for the worst case scenario on a hot sunny day.
Yes, so you see 6 cases over here. The bottom case is the worst case scenario, and we did try to achieve a good amount of correlation in this particular phase. Let's look at the graphs. This particular image explains how the thermal runaway happens, right? So if one cell is heating, it passes the heat to its adjacent cells, and so on, a reaction will happen, causing the battery pack to explode and catch fire. Anyways, we are going to see a lot about these two challenges in depth in our user sessions. We have seen today the battery, and tomorrow we are going to talk about the aerodynamics. For now, let me call on Alok to discuss about the mod sim benefits.
Thank you, Pranav.
Thank you, Pranav. So he reminded me of all the journey that we have gone through about the so many simulations that we have carried out in building this vehicle. So the idea is that when we look at the mod sim benefits, there are plenty of them. We can go on talking about it, but one of the key things which I personally like is the cloud computing. Being a startup, you're always limited resources. So being able to do simulation remotely without having to have your own infrastructure available was one of the most important element of allowing us to do complex simulation much more faster. If we had done that on our machines, it would have performed definitely. But then having a cloud computing, your resources are not your resources are basically free to do whatever you want to do while the simulation is getting carried out. At the same time, the collaboration, and you can actually monitor and look at the simulations remotely as well.
So let's talk about the benefits you have realized because of the mod sim approach on the overall vehicle design.
Definitely, Shri Krishna. So we cut down the weight by 30%. We made the vehicle far more aerodynamic than it was previously. At the same time, we maximized the cargo compartment. So when we started, the cargo compartment was about 175 liters. By virtue of having a compact battery pack that we are currently in the process of just getting it done, we have actually maximized the cargo space from 175 to all the way to 225. That's a massive amount of increase.
That's big. And tell us a little bit about the projects that are lined up this year.
There are plenty of them. We are all excited about it. So internal testing or the battery drop test, the new battery that we are designing right now. So we are working on this right now. We are very, very excited, and we are happy to share our journey. Very honored to be a part of this great event overall. Thank you, Dassault Systems. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much, Alok and Pranav. Let's give them a huge round of applause. Thank you for joining us.
Wow, Shri Krishna, maybe I misunderstood. I feel like what you're saying is if I were to adopt a unified modeling and simulation approach, it would increase innovation while reducing time and cost?
Absolutely. That's the gist of it.
But there's no way this would work on my rocket-powered machines, right?
Well, you know what? We took the liberty of explaining this to our Solidworks users, and they took a pass at it. And they did make some design changes. And let's see how your vehicle flies right now.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. Smooth as breeze. It's flying nice and calm without, bashing into one of the boulders. And can you guess what was the big design change we made?
Well, I noticed that it's more blue than mine.
Yeah, that is a color very attractive to kids these days, but it's the wings that were missing in the front.
Oh,
Yep.
fantastic. That's great. You guys are awesome.
Oh, trust me, we know. Now, tell me if you have some other product challenges that you're running into.
Okay, gladly. Well, you might not figure this, but our best-selling product that Acme makes is an anvil. We sell tons of anvils, no
Wow.
pun intended.
Sure.
But what we find is that our customers really love to just drop them on the heads of their enemies, fair enough. But the problem is anvils are very heavy.
Yep.
So if you're going to drag it to the top of a mountain cliff or something, by the time you get there, your prey is long gone.
Okay.
It's a problem. So we've been trying to experiment with lighter material to make the anvils so that it's light enough to carry, but still heavy enough to create that great big welt that forms on the top of a head, you know what I mean?
Oh, I remember that from good old days.
Yeah. but there have been some challenges there too. I think I have a drop test here I can show you.
All right, let's take a look.
This is a drop test, one of our lighter anvils. And as you see, it was way too light. So that's not going to work at all, obviously. So our next step is we went back to the heavier anvil, and then we bundled it with an old-timey street sweeper, a table fan, and a weather balloon. You can
Obviously,
understand
yeah.
the idea that you could just sort of hover it out to the exact spot you want. But I'm sure you can guess what happened next. We would drop the anvil, and then the whole thing would shoot up into the air. The weather balloon comes untied, then becomes this whole big thing until it smashes into the ground.
Wow.
It is not great for repeat business. Yeah.
So has that damaged your business at all?
It's been a real loss leader for the past 200 quarters or so.
200 quarters?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's not a long time at all. Okay, I think I know what to do now. I admit this is a bit of an unusual issue, but guess what? Most of our customers very often deal with striking the perfect balance between impact resistance, structural integrity, and making a product lightweight.
Yeah.
And I have one such gentleman that I would love for you to meet and discuss. Let's see who he is.
Wilson Case was founded in 1976 in a small town in central Nebraska. Over the years, Wilson Case has become the leader in manufacturing reusable shipping cases for various industries. Our custom solutions have evolved from $150 cases, small cases, to $33,000 shipping cases designed for aerospace contractors, which is pretty much the size of a small room. The company's reputation grew due to its commitment to quality, I want to say also customization options, and its innovative designs.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome David Dow from Wilson Case. Woo-hoo! David,
Yes, thank you.
great to have you here.
Great to see you.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So, my friend here, Mr. Corey, wants to learn how to strike the perfect balance between structural integrity and weight. And you're the right person, so do tell.
All right. Well, thank you, Sri Krishna. I'm honored to be here. I'm David Dow, and I work as a simulation engineer at Wilson Case.
Yep.
So, absolutely, Mr. Warner. We don't worry about anvil so much, but we do a lot of drop testing and impact analysis. Today, I invite you to embark on a journey with me, one that involves reusable shipping case performance enhanced by ModSim. Since 1976, Wilson Case has been protecting innovation by manufacturing shipping cases to protect everything, from the delicate mirror for the multi-million-dollar James Webb Telescope space to electronics, trade show exhibit, military and athletic equipment. Here is our product portfolio. As you can see, we build shipping cases for customization options. You also have the option to customize the foam inserts based on your requirements. Now let's cover some customer inquiries. Our designers were facing an increasing number of challenges, such as how much weight can my shipping case hold, or what will happen to the content in the event of a drop or impact. Or here is another interesting one. How many cases can we stack on top of each other? Just to name a few. This is the point where we decided to opt for ModSim, which is the unification of modeling and simulation to address these interesting challenges from our customers.
So David, what was the primary reasons for really embracing simulation? I mean, you kind of explained that. Can you go?
Yes, absolutely. So we explored various alternatives before settling on simulations. And as you know, you can delve into testing machines to ensure that you can successfully validate your shipping cases. But we decided to opt for a ModSim approach because it is essentially easier to simulate complex scenarios. So after the assessment of our needs and in our quest to address the identified challenges, we explored various simulations, like I told you, various alternatives before settling on simulation as the preferred solution. We did some shopping around and finally went with the 3DEXPERIENCE Simulia platform. Now, why simulation? Well, for example, physical testing can be very expensive and can only indicate whether failure occurred, but it cannot determine the degree of failure, nor show you how stresses evolve throughout the body. Whereas with the virtual impact simulation, you can simulate and understand how your product would crack under various levels of force, hence making it easy to find failure points early in product development process. Or sometimes you can be faced with impractical to test scenarios. Or let's say you've designed, you've built, and after testing, you realize that there are some weak areas. So you have to go back through the same cycle again, design, build, and test. And this is time consuming.
Sounds like that's what you're doing.
In a big way, yeah.
Yep.
So at this pivotal moment, simulation with its ability to model complex scenarios emerge as a proactive response to address the intricacies and limitations we've encountered, since physical lab testing can be significantly costly and limited in certain contexts. Now that we've covered the depth of why simulation, let's move with our objectives. Our objectives are pretty much straightforward. We want to prevent equipment damage, enhance the structural integrity, and then finally optimize the packaging design for cost effectiveness. Now, why 3DEXPERIENCE works simulation? I've kind of touched a little bit on this, but again, we've explored various alternatives before settling on simulation. One aspect we really love about the structural mechanics engineer role is because it enables you to perform complex structural simulations covering linear and nonlinear statics and dynamics, both implicit and explicit.
All taking advantage of the industry-leading Abacus solver technology.
Absolutely.
All right.
Now let's proceed with some case studies. This compression simulation enabled us to ensure that the case can successfully protect the enclosed product from compressive forces that may occur during transportation and handling. This simulation enabled us to ensure the quality and reliability of our shipping case. And as you can see, Mr. Warner, the case is doing a great job in protecting the content.
I see that.
This drop test simulation enabled us to ensure that the case is robust enough not to break apart and that the drop loads are absorbed in order to prevent equipment failure. And the case is performing really well in protecting the content.
So David, if I may ask, this, while it's a beautiful looking simulation, it's also a very complex and compute intensive simulation. Can you elaborate, have you been dealing with those massive computational requirements?
Yes, absolutely. And that's the beauty of simulating these complex structures on the platform. So whenever you invoke design changes, these changes will be automatically reflected on the platform. So at that point, all you have to do is to update the model and rerun your simulations.
And pretty much all on cloud.
Exactly, all on cloud.
All right.
This forklift impact simulation enabled us to understand how our case would respond to this kind of impact. It enabled us to assess the structural response of our case. And after running the analysis, we realized that the case is robust enough to protect the content from potential damage.
These are some really cool structural simulation because as engineers, we like to see things break, poke, and fall.
Exactly, Sri Krishna. Now, the design improvements based on simulation. In the left picture here, I have removed the foam thickness on the bottom here based on simulation findings. And after rerunning the analysis, we realized that the case was still structurally sound and suitable for its intended application. The case was successfully validated against the load-bearing capacity and the material performance. In the bottom picture here, after a rigorous examination through simulations, we also noticed that the top panel needed to be strengthened in order to sustain the load-bearing capacity of another case being stacked on top of it.
So yeah, go ahead.
And that's why we've added these rectangular panels in order to give that rigidity to the case.
All right, and you're making all these designs in SolidWorks, updating on the platform seamlessly.
Exactly.
That's great. Yep. Tell us some of the values or the benefits that you've realized because of these design changes, because of these improvements as an overall organization.
So with 3DEXPERIENCE Works, we are able to give to our customers a value-driven product by reducing prototyping and warranty cost. We can also decrease material cost, enhance quality and customer satisfaction. And finally, ModSim approach has facilitated entry into new markets, driving business growth for us. Before we conclude, let's set the stage for innovation by exploring our roadmap for future work. We're working on the democratization process by empowering designers with simulation. And also, we want to left shift our innovation processes. As we move forward, let's embrace the power of ModSim to revolutionize the way we approach reusable shipping case designs. Thank you for your attention.
Wow, thank you so much, David. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Wow.
What do you think?
You're telling me that he was able to reduce the weight but still keep performance the same? That's incredible. I'm telling you, if we could just guarantee that our anvils would fall when dropped, we would increase sales by 300%.
Wow, that is crazy. You know what? I explained your use case to our product engineers and designers. They didn't really get it, but nonetheless, they created an impact simulation and optimize the design of your very interesting vehicle.
Yeah, let me see.
Let's see what we got. So on the right hand side are the impact tests, and on the left hand side is your breakthrough revolutionary design. And what we found out from the simulations of the optimized product is that anvil is now able to go down without breaking, and so is the impressive vehicle that you guys have designed.
This is great. If we adopt this, I'm going to be rich. Richer, of course.
Oh, I'm sure, of course.
Listen, can I ask you about one other problem we're having?
Sure.
Because I want to talk about modernization. Our company has always been very analog. We make mechanical projects. Of course, sometimes there's radio-controlled things here and there, but those never worked, and no one ever really expected them to. But today, all customers want everything to be smart and connected, and that's causing a real headache for Acme. Here's an example. We tried to make a drone recently, and it did not go well. Do we have a clip of this?
Sure.
Yeah, so whenever we make the drone, at first it works well, you see, but inevitably after a couple seconds, it starts attacking the engineer, see? Yeah, he got banged up a lot with that one.
Wow.
And the problem is we did our market research, and it turns out customers almost never want a drone that tries to kill them.
Oh, I'm sure most customers do.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like you need help with improving the communication between the controllers and their devices like the drone, probably some improvement in the antenna design.
Okay.
So we have somebody here who has a ton of experience dealing with somewhat similar issue, not killer drones, but antennas.
Okay.
Let's meet him.
Enovonics is an industry lead in wireless technologies. I think it's a very creative process when it comes to designing antenna. Anything can be an antenna. Sometimes some things are antennas when you don't want it to be. I've built some pretty unconventional antennas in the past year and a half that I don't think would have been possible to make without 3D simulation. You can really break the boundaries of creativity with how you can fit something in a place maybe it shouldn't have fit in before.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mark Zackham from Enovonics. Welcome, Mark. Good to see you.
Thank you, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, Mark, my friend Corey here is dealing with some killer drones which are having wireless communication issues. Tell us how you develop antennas and make them safe and efficient without, chasing people around.
Yeah, hopefully I can help you with that, Mr. Warner. I'm Mark Zackham. I'm a hardware design engineer at Enovonics. And today I'm going to go through a bit of our design process and what it takes to make an antenna for modern devices.
Go for it.
All right, Enovonics. Enovonics is a leader in wireless technology. We make custom hardware and software solutions for various markets. Some of these markets are senior living and commercial security. When it comes to designing an antenna, we're going to have a plethora of engineering challenges to overcome. I've kind of summarized these into 3 different challenges. Kind of go through the whole process. This way we can understand what it takes to make something as complex as an antenna. The first one is modeling dielectric tuning. Now, what do I mean when I say dielectric? In simple terms, dielectric is just a way of describing a material in the way it interacts with an electrostatic field. The different the dielectric constant is, which is just a number we put to that value, the difference in what it will affect the antenna. Our next challenge is antenna placement. This is for inside an enclosure and also within the environment that it needs to be placed in. When it's inside the enclosure, where the antenna plays is extremely important. We want to make sure that it can radiate the way we want it to and that nothing is interfering with it when it comes to if someone is holding the device, if something gets in front of it. We would need to account for all those situations when it comes to designing an antenna. And last but not least, see the unseen. Now, before simulation softwares, we really couldn't see how antennas radiate. It's just not something that we can do. But with simulation softwares, we are able to understand the way our antenna is performing and the way our antenna is interacting with the environment around it. And it's also really nice eye candy to look at when you're watching these simulations.
So, Mark, some of us don't come from the electromagnetic background. So tell us, what is the typical process of an antenna design in very simple terms?
Yes, of course. So, as most design processes go, it all starts on a tissue paper. What do you want to make this for? Where is this antenna going to be placed, and what does it need to do? From there, you'll get a rough idea of the type of antenna you want, and you'll do basic initial calculations. Those calculations can build you a rough model in simulation, and then from there, you can go and make a prototype. These prototypes are tested in labs, and we try to test to get the same results we've been seeing on the simulation platform. We overlay the lab results and our simulation results together to try to build a more accurate simulated model. So the next revisions, we know that it will show what we're seeing in real life. And then we keep this process going until we have a design that we like for production. So why 3DEXPERIENCE works. One, this platform is extremely powerful. The way and ease of use of building a model and getting it to prototype is quicker than other solutions that I've seen. Specifically within CST Studio, which is the electromagnetic solver that we use to perform all our work. With this, we can simulate rooms, model scattering, see placement of our antennas, understand different environments and different scenarios to do my job right and make sure that the customer gets something that works every time.
So Mark, you perform electromagnetic simulations in the electromagnetics engineer role on the platform, and then your designers make the design changes recommended by you in the Solidworks, and you're able to collaborate back and forth seamlessly.
Yes, it's pretty incredible. Working with our mechanical engineers, we usually need custom enclosures for every design that we make. All our hardware is custom, so we need to make sure that everything interacts appropriately. Doing the collaboration with our SolidWorks team means that not only do I know that the antenna is in its optimal location, the mechanical engineers understand everything that the hardware engineers need to do to get the product right every time.
That's great, thank you.
So we're going to dive a little deeper into dielectric detuning. When I say detuning, I mean any material that gets within the range of the antenna is going to shift the frequency that the antenna is going to be performing at. And sometimes these shifts can be so great that your antenna becomes out of the bandwidth that it needs to perform in. In CST, we're able to take these materials and the entire enclosure, thankfully from our mechanical engineers, bring it in and understand the effect of these dielectrics on our model. From there, we can design the antenna around the detuning to make sure that when the antenna is in its final enclosure, it's actually detuned to the correct frequency. We build it for its design. The design doesn't change it. And then this leads us into packaging constraints. When it comes to making an antenna, an important thing is understanding where it needs to be and the frequencies it needs to run at. Specifically, our product, the wall mount locator, needs to run at two different frequencies. A lower frequency in the band, sub-gigahertz, and 2.4, which is Bluetooth. To make a dual band patch antenna to work at both those frequencies in a metal box is pretty hard. If anyone knows, metal and antennas aren't great friends, and they tend not to make each other work out. So we designed around this. First, we kind of bent the physics of what it means to make a patch antenna fit within a standard 4x4 metal box. At the frequencies we wanted, at a normal patch antenna, it would simply not fix. Through CST Studio, we're able to change things around, do some very clever physics and math to make sure that we design something that not only fit within our constraints, but actually perform phenomenally at both frequencies. And then now we talk about room positioning. Positioning is extremely important. This is a locator. It needs to communicate with our devices to make sure that everything performs optimally. And now we can account for that within software. We don't need to guess when we're on site of where to put our locators and see if it works and do multiple runs and testing. We can account for most of what we're going to expect by taking floor plans, making a room model, and seeing how it's going to perform. We can throw it on the ceiling. We can do different heights on the wall. We can do corners. And we can understand where this needs to be for the best solution. This saves times for our technicians, for the people on site, and for us at Innovonics.
So what are the key benefits you have realized because of this amazing work you've done?
There are many benefits that came out of this. One is the ability to work anywhere on any device. Having the online platform allows me to do my job on any device. I just need a browser and internet connection. I can run my simulations on online core model, like on online cores. I don't need powerful computers at all times. Therefore, I could be at a coffee shop with a tablet getting a simulation done, or I could be on site on a powerful computer getting it done. The possibilities are endless. And collaboration between our mechanical team is also vastly improved, cutting down the work time, what it takes to send files, make sure that the newest ones, make sure we're all core-aligned. The online platform gets that covered for us.
All right, that's excellent. Thank you so much for sharing these insights, Mark, and we really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, that's all well and good, but You're really telling me that if I just place the antenna in a different spot, that will stop my drones from wanting to attack humanity?
Let's find out. So, we took your drone, came up with a nicer antenna design, found the right location, did the dielectric detuning, and we were able to simulate in the electromagnetics engineer role that showed this red apple looking plot, which means that the communication is quite efficient in most of the directions. So this means you can now save a lot of human lives, Mr. Corey.
You know what? I'm sold. This is fabulous. Tell you what, I'm just going to call up a live feed of my office right now. Oh, good. The meeting hasn't started yet. Listen, I have got a face-to-face in my office back in Arizona in about 10 minutes, and I'm going to tell them all about this. Thank you so much.
Wait. Did you say Arizona and you're going to be there in 10 minutes?
Yes, of course.
How's that possible?
I'm going to teleport.
You're kidding me.
Hey, not all of my products are defective, okay? See ya.
What? I can't believe this guy. He said he's going to teleport? That's his office. How's he going to be there? Oh, he really made it. Ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause to Mr. Corey Warner. Now that we all learned the values and benefits of unified modeling and simulation, it's time to learn about what more our customers can do with the new updates on the 3DEXPERIENCE Work Simulation portfolio. I'm going to invite on stage Delphine and Steve, who lead the product management organizations from the Simulia and Solidworks brands of Dassault Systems. Please welcome them with a huge round of applause. Hey,
thank you,
hi Steve. Good to see you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Sri Krishna. What a show. Hey, Stephen, how are you doing? Great to see you on stage.
I'm great to be here. It's good to be back.
Yeah, indeed. What do you think of these amazing customer stories?
They're great stories, and I really love how our customers are adopting ModSim, expanding their innovation, and adding value to their businesses. It's really exciting.
Indeed.
But my question really is, we were here last year. What have we done since then to deliver value to our customers?
2023 has been a fantastic year for Simulia R&D. We have been delivering projects based on our customer feedback, so thanks to you guys, thanks to our customer using our solution, but as well to imagine the unique ModSim solution that they would not have dreamed about. So very busy about productivity, user experience, as well as new functionality.
We only have time to touch the highlights of what we're going to talk about. So where can people go to find out more about the simulation portfolio?
It's a great question, actually, and it's an easy one. Let me show you. Okay, if we can switch to the iPad, that's going to be easier. All right, cool. Simply go to 3ds.com website, and in order to learn about 3DEXPERIENCE Works portfolio, you simply go to the compass to navigate through the portfolio, select the 3DEXPERIENCE Works portfolio here, and here you're going to discover and navigate through the complete engineering and manufacturing portfolio called 3DEXPERIENCE Works. From design, simulation, manufacturing, marketing, sales, and governance, because that's important. We are delivering to you not a simulation in silos or design in silos. We are offering to you a complete new engineering and manufacturing solution, a complete platform for your product innovation.
And indeed, once you go to the simulation portfolio, you can then do a deep dive into structural analysis, flow analysis, motion, electromagnetics, plastics, all you'll need to know to develop your products.
Definitely, Stephen. So if you do not know yet the 3DEXPERIENCE Works portfolio and wants to learn from yourself, I'll invite you to visit our 3ds.com website and use the compass for your navigation.
So let's go on to simulation and talk about structural simulation, which many of you are doing already. We saw some great stories from Cargus and Wilson Case. What have we delivered new for them for 2024?
So as I mentioned, we've been busy in 2023 delivering projects around productivity, enhancement of performance, and functionality. Our objective is to deliver to you a very robust ModSim solution so you can perform your structural simulation faster than ever. With the new release of the structural role and application, users can now simulate way faster large assembly that involves symmetric components. If you have a symmetry in your assembly, simply select the plan of symmetry, the mirror meshing capability, define the meshing on one of the parts, and in just one click, the meshing on the entire assembly will be done for you. A great time saver for the large assembly simulation.
Indeed, indeed.
3DEXPERIENCE simulation portfolio is a cloud portfolio, offering you all the flexibility of the cloud and the power of cloud compute for you. In the area of result visualization, you're going to experience a game-changing performance improvement with a new technology to do post-processing way faster on large assembly again. And you have asked us for more capability to predict product durability more accurately and on any type of geometry. We are now delivering the capability to assess the durability of thin structure made of weld. Simply select the weld, and as you can see here, in few clicks, you will be able to understand and assess the durability of your welds, which are critical in such environments. But we are going further in durability world. You will be able to assess durability based on new material algorithm. For example, we have added thermomechanical creep fatigue simulation in a material setup, so you will be able to perform fatigue failure analysis at very high temperature. And we have developed this algorithm with a world-recognized Fraunhofer Institute, the best of the best for the Solidworks community.
Always the best of the best. And I think you'll find with these advanced capabilities and power that begin with cloud compute, our customers can really flex their innovation power on their product developments.
Yeah, definitely, and that's really our objective. That's what drives us. Cargos show us their great CFD simulation to enhance the aerodynamic performance of their e-scooter. Stephen, I know CFD is close to your heart. What have we done on fluid dynamic engineering in 2023?
Well, we've done a lot, and I think really what you saw from what Cargos were doing, they use streamlines a lot to understand how the flow goes around their product. It's a very large problem, and when you deal with large problems, you end up with a large data set. And handling that data set and investigating that data set can be troublesome. We can solve the problems on the cloud, and with the release of 2024, we can now do cloud results visualization, which is a really handy thing for people like Cargos, so they can just send their product to the cloud, solve it, investigate it, and make engineering changes really, really fast. But flow analysis isn't just about flow around a product. It's about the effect of the flow on the product. This is what we call fluid structural interaction. We want to see how the flow changes the shape of the product. And we can do that really simply now with fluid structural interaction with sequential coupling. And I think our customers will now take the next step in the evolution of their analysis in this domain.
Wait, Stephen. Let me ask you, did you just say that the Solidworks customer will be able now to do multi-physics in 3DEXPERIENCE simulation?
Indeed, we will do multi-physics simulation, something a lot of you have asked for a long time, and we're delivering it now.
Wow, wow. This announcement for intuitive and robust result exploration, as well as multi-physics during the design process, is really coming from you for your need, listening to how you can improve your product quality.
I think Environics is a great example of how the needs of our customers have changed over time. Yep. With the digitalization, adding PCBs, communication, the need for people to understand the physics of their products, the electromagnetic waves is really, really important. What have we done for those people now? We've done a lot again.
Many electromagnetic devices, such as insulators, circuit breakers, or permanent magnet motors, are working in what we call a low-frequency simulation domain. We have then integrated an electromagnetic engineer, the specialized Opera technology, so you can assess accurately the performance of these devices early in a design process, in the same interface that electromagnetic engineer, just everything in one. In order for you to take all advantage of the cloud compute for your electromagnetic compliance and antenna placement simulation that Mac showed us previously, we have enhanced our solver for high-performance cloud computing support, faster and better for your design process. We are then ready to answer to your low-frequency simulation need with electromagnetic engineer role. In the industrial equipment industry, life science industry, and high-tech industry, you are designing moving parts. You are designing mechanisms from simple to very complex. How to make sure that these mechanisms will work as planned, how to make sure they will sustain their requirements. We have developed Simulia 3D Motion Creator as a web-based simulation role tailored to your need in motion simulation to answer to this question. Stephen, what's up in the domain of motion?
Well, I think I agree with you, Delphine. When you're dealing with mechanisms that move with accuracy and precision, you need to do a motion simulation.
Yep.
And 3D Motion Creator helps us get to the core of the setup and understanding of these types of problems. The challenge we have when we're dealing with large assemblies with lots of joints and sub-assemblies is it's hard to visualize the impact of change. What will happen? And we've delivered with the new results joints visualization that you can actually see the impact of change, that if you change a joint, what will the effect have on the way the parts come together. And we'll see here, I activate a joint, I can now visually see, okay, that's now in the right place, and I can move on with my analysis. And once you've set it up, you need now to think about, well, what do I want to know? And one of the common things we find when we want to find out about motion analysis is I want to see how the parts work in relation to other. You know, do I bind up? Do I clash? And we can do this very simply with kinematic joint probes. So you can pick two parts in the assembly, a part on the assembly, or even the ground, and understand how close they come to each other in the range of motion. And here we're looking at the suspension. We built a simple bump in the road. We're just seeing how the suspension will compress and move as we go over this bump. A very simple setup, but you can see how intuitive it is to set these types of problems and understand what's going on. That's a very simple bump. But what if we wanted to have a more complex bumpy road? Do I then have to model it up in Solidworks? No, we don't. What we're going to allow people to use is sketch-based tools to actually then build a very complex driving motion, so you can actually build intelligence and complexity in your analysis very, very simply and very easily. And you can see here, that's a very bumpy road that I'm about to drive my scooter over. Again, set it up once, make it more complex, make it more understandable, but you still get very quick answers and you get to the root of what you're trying to understand. So again, intuitively and informatively.
Awesome, awesome. So Cargos will be ready to assess the e-scooter on any bumpy road in India. So these announcements are, of course, as Stephen mentioned, just a few highlights of what we have delivered to you in the 3DEXPERIENCE simulation portfolio. If you want to know more and discover everything that we have delivered in the 3DEXPERIENCE simulation role, you have the user community. So don't hesitate to go to your user community. There is a dedicated What's New section when you will be able to learn everything available for you in design, simulation, manufacturing, governance, marketing, and sales. Because that's important to remember again. We are not delivering you a simulation solution in siloed. We are delivering to you a global engineering and manufacturing solution for your needs.
And if you discovered with our customers today, this portfolio is an enabler for innovation. You know, simulation is all about asking the question, what if I change things? What if I do things differently? And we want to remove the barriers between traditional design and simulation and bring them together in this mod sim environment.
Yeah, definitely. So you really have at your fingertip a unique engineering platform to predict and improve behavior of your design earlier. We speak about left shifting. It's ready and available to you now, so do not miss it. And that concludes our session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Delphine. Thank you, Steve. Those are some really cool updates. I'm sure our customers are going to be excited. I already see Cargos planning their next vehicle based on these updates.
Awesome.
All right. That said, I do want to thank all of our audience and let you know that we're going to do a deep dive panel chat with the same customers from 2:45 p.m. to 3:45 p.m. at the meetup room in D70, D170 in level 1. But don't forget the manufacturing team is going to be in this room at 2:45 p.m. as well. So if you are interested in manufacturing, stay back. And they're going to talk about the trends in manufacturing as well as updates on some of the new solutions from Delmia and Delmia Works. That's it. We're going to wrap up. Thank you all for your time and attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.